Good evening, everyone. Today we are back with a brand new session. Today's session is on resume building and updating your LinkedIn profile to help you in your job search. This would be helpful for all kinds of people who are looking for jobs right now, people who are not active in the job market but would be looking for jobs soon. It would be good to learn these tips. Um, at the same time, people who are trying to get into the job market, it would really help, like people who have not been working for a while and are looking forward to uh, work in the Canadian job market, people maybe who are new to Canada or people who have not worked for a while or did not have visa. So this would be helpful for all of you. Without delay, we would start the session. I would just like to give a disclaimer that uh, in this session, we are all equals. We are all trying to share our experiences. Today we have Mayuraki and Shri with us. I personally know them, and I had discussed a few things with them, and based on my discussions, I felt that they were competent enough to share their experiences. So that is why I selected them. They are not perfect. They may say something which may not be right, but that's fine. We're just sharing each other's experiences. That's what the intention of this session is. So I would request everybody to do their own research before they take any steps. If you do any mistakes based on the learnings from this session, I would just like to say that Kolkata-Days or its moderator or admin or any of the speakers today or any of the other participants would not be held responsible. So once again, let us just share information just for the sake of learning. That's it. With that, today we would start with Mayuraki. So she is a VFX artist in Toronto's movie studio, and she has worked in both contract and full-time positions in multiple companies. And she also does a freelance job. She has also been here in Canada for 8 years. So she would be starting with resume building. So Mayuraki, please go ahead. I would request everybody else to be on mute. And at the same time, we would have a question answer session at the very end. So you can post your questions in the chat, but we would try to answer all your questions, but at the very end. Okay, thank you.
Hey everyone. So I hope everyone is doing well. I'm going to start this session with resume building. So whatever I have learned for last few years, I'm just going to share my experience. First, I'm going to start with like when you search for a job, what do you see? Like first few lines, what they exactly want from you. So normally what I do, I don't know, some people might say no to this, but for me, it always worked. I always add few keywords from the job description on my resume and sometimes copy paste like few words and few sentence, which is always relevant, definitely relevant. And it helps to, search. It helps to the algorithm and it's sometimes get picked up. And also there is another thing, like if once a recruiter get your resume, they have maximum 30 seconds to go through it. So you don't need to write down a lot of details, what you have done past like 10 years before and whatever you have done back home, like in detail. Maybe you just mention it, but you don't need to add too many informations there. So mostly what you have done here, your soft skills in Canada, that's the most important thing. And if you have really good experience in India, you just add it and try to keep it like maximum 2 page, not more than that. Nobody has time to read it like from first to end. So it's really important to optimize your resume, definitely, and make it professional looking. And I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you Just give me 1 second. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just sharing where I have done my resume. It's Canva. Not all of them are relevant to you. Depends from which field you're coming. And there is like really nice some ready formats if you can pick up, and you can just add your stuff here. And I personally prefer black and white because most of the recruiters, they sometimes print it out. So it's easier for them to print out black and white, or else if you use any other color, it might get blurry or something else. So it's better to get it just black and white. And these are some options I have selected. So this is like pretty simple, your name and your details in front, and your little bit of yourself and the experience, mostly Canadian experience and education. So it's, you can see that everything is in one page. They don't need to like, go back and forth, and they don't need to go like down to see your education. So it's like, I prefer this way. So it's easier for them to see, oh, your education is this, and experience. Okay, that's it. So, and font should be easy to read, and definitely highlight your points. Definitely highlight if you have any special experience, any awards or anything. And definitely go to the Grammarly. I don't know if you know about it. There is an app, Grammarly, and check your punctuations and any grammatical errors in your resume. And there is another one, and I really like this, clean and clear, and little bit of your work experience and everything in one page. This one also. So if anyone coming from a designer background or like me, so if you have any software skills, you can just mention it like this. I don't do this, but sometimes people like it. And right now there is another way to show your skill. If you're from a designing background or graphic designer, people are doing resumes like this. This is called pictograph or infographic as well. So you can do like this. So this is just an example. Exactly same like your regular resume, but not nothing. Whatever you have done, just like single word, or like you don't need to explain anything here. These are mostly for designers. Also, yes. And if you want more details regarding resume building or any cool stuff, you can follow this one, Consulting, and they have a service as well for resume building in AI. You can check this one as well, Consulting. And last, what I think for resume is unnecessary. You don't need to add any unnecessary personal info, your age, no gender on your resume or anything unwanted. If you have anything like extra you need to tell them, you can add that on cover letter. And if you come to cover letter, I'm gonna say, if you're applying for a small company, if they're asking for a cover letter, just go for it. But if there is no requirement for cover letter, I won't recommend to, because nobody has time to read one page of cover letter. So this is just a format, that's the basic cover letter format, which I like. Maybe like last 8 years, maybe I just sent one cover letter to one company because they wanted it. Excuse me. So it's pretty simple. So what we cannot add in resume because we have limited space, we normally add it in cover letter. So your work experience, if you have some details to tell them, or just your introduction, what you do if you have any extra software knowledge or anything, you just want to mention what you have done before and what your soft skills, you can just add that on cover letter. And this is just an example. And also, there's another thing I should mention, that is in Canada, people want reference. Most of the time, companies not always on the not always on the resume. You can mention that on your resume last, that reference upon request. So if they require reference, you can just just create one page like this and just add your 3 reference and just send them. And I think that's it for now. And I have few, okay, just give me 1 second. I think that's it. And if you have any question, just ask me later. And I'm passing it to Shri right now.
Yeah, so, okay, thank you so much, Moiraki. Now, Shri would also touch upon a few things on resume building, and then she will move over to LinkedIn and how she has used LinkedIn to move ahead in her career. So she is a content strategist with the financial investment firm called Edward Jones. She's also been here for 8 years. She came here on PR. So over to you, Shri.
Sure. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So for resume building, I think one thing which really struck and worked for me was volunteer experience. And not only does it help you build interpersonal and communication skills, it helps you establish new contacts. So whatever role that you're going for, if you can volunteer with people in that particular field and you can build contacts, they see how you work, and then it can turn into either a permanent role, or you can get those contacts and give those contacts as references for your future roles as well. So for example, I volunteered with a pet healthcare magazine for a couple of months, and I learned a lot of skills about editorial calendars and things in marketing that I was not using in my current role. And that helped me enhance my skills. And so I kind of learned a lot of few things. And I've even referenced the person that I worked with in various roles that I've applied for, and I've mentioned it in my LinkedIn profile. Since I'm from a marketing and content background, a portfolio really worked for me. So depends on the field that you're in, depends what kind of role you're looking for. But if that requires that you need a portfolio, I would say, please go ahead, create a visual summary of the work that you've done. I put in mostly my design ideas or even the process of a design that I've worked on in my portfolio. And that has helped me talk about it in my interviews and with the recruiters and hiring managers, and they can see the kind of work that I've done. So it gives them an idea of the person I am and the skills that I have. That's what I had for resume. For LinkedIn, one thing which worked, I think it worked for everybody, for a lot of people, and worked for me, was hashtags. So if you're new in the country and you're looking for a job, try open to work hashtag or hiring hashtag. You will see recruiters put that a lot. So use hashtags for look for work, and say that you're open for this, or even you can put in what your skills are, what kind of work you're looking for, and apply for those particular roles. There's also a field called a summary field. Highlight your skills in there, but keep it short and keep it with keywords which are market relevant and whatever the keywords the recruiters are looking for, because it'll help the AI to pick it up and your profiles will show up, and then talks go on from there. Another thing was always there's a portion called location, and where you what kind of jobs you're looking for, what location you're looking for, and if it's hybrid or full-time or part-time kind of role. So keep all options open in your LinkedIn profile and just keep applying for jobs. Another thing which worked for me which kind of works a lot, is like when you're looking for a profile on LinkedIn and applying for roles, you would see the recruiter's name, or you would see the hiring manager's name next to it. If you can write to them on LinkedIn, like send them an email or an email to them, or even when you're referencing in your email and cover letter, you can mention their name and write a little bit about yourself. That kind of helps build a rapport and gets the things moving forward. Another thing would be networking. It worked a lot for me, which is making contacts with people in your industry. So if you look for people in the same field on LinkedIn, send them friend request, but give a context of why you want to connect with them. What if there are any roles in their company you would want to let them know that those are the roles that you're applying for and you want their help, and these are your skills, and maybe get the conversation going from there. Volunteering has also helped me get a lot of networking contacts and like move my resume forward. And sometimes it's like it's not even gone to the recruiter; it's gone directly to the like a VP level person who would have trickled it down to the recruiter, and then I got my foot through the door and I was able to attend a couple of interviews. So it kind of networking always helps you get through uh, these kind of roadblocks where the recruiter would see the resume and not just pass it on and not take you. But if somebody knows you in the field or in the industry, they would just pass it on and then things work from there. Another thing would be joining groups for your work. So for example, I am in the content strategy, so I have probably joined 8 or 9 groups where people from Canada and from US are, I can see what certifications they have done. I can see what kind of job applications or like works they have worked before. I've gone and applied in those companies where they have worked before. And yeah, I could see like there were roles from my particular field in content strategy in those companies, and that kind of got the ball moving. And lastly, I just have one more thing to say is, if you are trying to change your role also, LinkedIn helps a lot. And not just for new people who are looking for jobs. If you're looking for a change in career, for looking for something to enhance your skills, you can work with coaches who can help you improve your skill. There are a lot of mentors. They might charge you a small amount of money, or they might charge you something. Some are even available for free, but you have to like reach out to them, send them email through LinkedIn and talk to them, and start working with them as mentors. And that also works as a way to help you get jobs or get yourself visible into that field. So that's all I had. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Okay, thank you so much, Sri. So now we will open it up for questions. It would be better now. So yeah, so the one thing that we would like to follow is to ask questions by raising hand. In Zoom, you can see that there's a reactions icon. And when you click on the reactions icon, you can click on raise hand. That way, we can address questions. So I see Arnob, Dr. Arnob Chakraborty has a question. Go ahead, Arnob. And at the same time, there's one more request. If possible, if all participants can switch on their videos, it would be good. There are many who don't know each other. Then we will also get to know each other through this session. Arnob, Dr. Arnob Bhattacharya, please ask your question.
Okay, so I'm really sorry. This is Dipanjan, not Dr. Arnob Bhattacharya.
Okay.
Since I used to work in pharma, a lot of doctors used to attend meetings from my Zoom profile. So I apologize for that.
And do you have a video?
Yes, but I'm not in an environment where I can turn on my
No
video.
problem. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, how exactly do you find these mentors? I mean, LinkedIn is a vast space, right? And without InMail, I mean, you don't get much access to what LinkedIn can do for you actually. So if I can get a little bit of clarity on, how I can approach them or where I can find them, exactly what to look for, that would be great.
Sure, I can take that. Depends on, so if you can give me an example of what you're looking for, if do you have any keywords in mind, or do you have any kind of skill that you're looking for, you can find mentors based on that. So do you have something I can use that as an example? I'm sorry, I can't share my screen with you because I'm using my office laptop, but I can probably tell you the process on LinkedIn. I have it open on my iPad, so I can tell
Okay.
you the process of finding out and seeing if that works or not. So as you tell me, I'm going to right now look and see if I can find something in those things.
Okay, so my background is business development, specifically in the pharma industry. What I'm trying to get into is like core marketing, right? So key accounts management, business development, as you know, I mean, these roles go hand in hand with the marketing uh, department. In fact, we were responsible for creating local marketing campaigns, which then we would send to the team for their approval, and then we would actually execute those.
Okay.
So I believe that business development, key accounts management can bring a lot of transferable skills.
Yes.
So yeah, like all I need to know is how do I actually connect with them?
You would have to are you part of any groups for business development in LinkedIn? That would
No,
be
I'm
one
not.
place that you would start, like maybe for pharma, if there's the group online on LinkedIn, or basically look for the keywords that you just mentioned. You can use those keywords to look for groups, or look for just type in mentor and business development and see if that works. That can sometimes,
Okay.
because that can also help, because I was looking, so I had heard about this person. I'm not sure if you've heard. There's a inspirational speaker called Brené Brown, and she talks a lot about vulnerability in leadership, in shame, and a lot of topics like that. And she has written a ton of books. But vulnerability in leadership is something that is being preached a lot, that you need to be a little vulnerable, but not at the same time overtly vulnerable. So those kind of things, I was looking to work with someone in LinkedIn who could help me, because I wanted to move towards a leadership role. And I found a coach who was like, she mentors people based on Brené Brown's books, Dare to Lead, and some of her books. So I worked with her for just a month, not much, but trying to understand how she works. And it was just mainly through conversations or through email in LinkedIn. And that's how it worked for me for 1 month. So I'm just sharing an example, but it can work. It just depends on who's willing to coach or mentor you on LinkedIn, and if they kind of match the field and the industry that you're looking for.
I understand. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
I received one question before.
Okay.
That is, if you're applying, sorry, my video is not working somehow. Something
fine.
happened anyways. If you're applying, it happened to me. If you're applying in a generic job, when I came to Canada, like I was applying for my field and also for, some odd jobs here. So do you need to create separate resumes for them? And if you want to delete all your experience? So my answer to this is yes, I created two different resumes, but I kept kept everything same, just the words I have changed. I was applying for customer service. I added like few customer service details on my resume. And for my designing resume, I created a resume like regular. So it depends where you're applying. You have to cater your resume like that as per the job. So yes. Thanks.
So Moraki, so for each and every job, we would have to tweak our resume to a certain extent, because
no, not for each and every job. It's for two different field, generic field and for the field, like for your specialized field. So it's two different fields. So if you're applying for Walmart or Costco regular jobs, So you're going to cater your resume like that. You don't need to mention all your experience on designing field over there. So if you have any soft skill, try to focus on that.
Okay, but based on my experience, I felt that
Mhm.
even in the same field, in my case it was IT, even in the same field, different jobs may require certain skill sets which may not be common. So let's say there's a particular technology which is needed in job one, and in job two there's another technology needed. So maybe in job one that other technology is not really important, so I didn't even add it. But
In my case, I see, like, I have changed so many jobs because I was working on project basis. So in one project, I have worked with one software. In next project, I don't need that software at all. But it's good to add that experience. Oh, you have learned so many softwares. You're a fast learner. So it's, for me, I always try to add everything, but obviously in optimized way, not like I'm mentioning everything, maybe just a single word or something. So yes, I have
so
worked on this one. I have worked on that one too. So everything adds on. So it's nothing bad.
no, that is what I mean. So because I mean, it is recommended to have your resume as slim as possible,
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
possible one page. Then in one page you cannot really
No,
explain
no,
a
not
lot
obviously.
about
Yes.
the
In case
technology.
like you have, there's like too much, obviously you have to cut it down short.
Yeah, that's what I
If
usually
you're
do.
newcomer in Canada, you don't have too many experience, maybe one or two. Yes, obviously you can add that. And in my case, if I have changed like 6 or 7, 8 jobs, I cannot mention everything in 1 or 2 page, right? So yes.
Okay.
Also, I can add that if you can, if you're applying to two different jobs, even in the same field, try and demonstrate your skills. Like, don't just say, you know, this and this skill, but try to word your resume in such a way that they can see some benefit or some benefit that you've done to your team, or you've reduced something. Like you've always start with like you've done this demonstrated example of I've done this and this is how it resulted in. So if you can show the results of the work through your skills and work, that adds more value to your resume.
Yeah, definitely. Very good point. And there's a question by Devika.
Hi, this is Devika. I have a question regarding gaps in your career. How do you address your career gap in your resume or in your cover letter, if any?
I had about sorry, Momo, I'm taking this. You
No,
can.
that's okay. You can just go ahead.
I had about 1 year gap before, like I left India and then I moved here, and it took me 3 months to get a job, my first job, which was a contract role. And then another 1 year to get my full-time position, which I'm in right now. And I was honest throughout that, yes, this is, I don't have a job, I'm looking for one, or family reasons, but try and be honest as much as you can.
So do I need to like mention it in my cover letter if they ask for a cover letter? If not,
Even if they ask for cover letter, you don't need to mention your gaps. Your cover letter should focus on your skills, what you've done, how valuable. Like they basically every company wants somebody who can join the job and start proving results or showing results from the first day itself. So if you can show that through your cover letter, that, you know, I know what your challenges are. I can see it in your job description itself, that these are challenges that I will be facing when I join this role, and I can hit the ground running as soon as I take over this role. Those kind of skills and demonstration of things would help you get the role.
okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, I even had 3 years of gap, almost 2.5 year gap. So I don't think that's a problem in Canada.
Okay.
If
That's
you know
good.
the job, that's okay. And if you mention, like, if there is a way to mention it, like if you have to mention it, just mention it. You can just explain why.
Yeah.
I guess.
They
Yeah.
might ask you in
It's,
the
I
interview.
don't think, like, if you know how to work, I think that's okay. They will know in interview. They will know you know it or not.
Thank you so much.
Okay, there's another question by
Oh,
Moitri.
can I add something more, Devika?
Sure.
What you could do
Sure.
is, like, if you have that gap where you've not worked, try and show, maybe do a course or something. Like, you know what, yes, I was not working for such and such reason, but I used that time to learn something. Or
So, like I'm doing a course right now.
yeah, you can show that even though you had a gap, but
Mhm.
that's not called a gap. That's called skill learning. So you're updating yourself. So they will not consider it as a gap. It shows that you were actually upgrading your skills and doing a course.
Yep. Thank you.
So in every, I'm just asking another question related to this. In our resumes, we have a section where we have our experience. At the same time, we have another section where we have our education and qualifications. And so there we also mention, like, I mean, if somebody has master's degree, then they do mention the date, like from this year to this year, I did this degree. So that also is self-explanatory, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, so now there's a question by Moitri.
Hello. I have a question regarding change in career, like how to show it in a resume. Like I'm from a biology background, and so if I want to shift my career to something else, so how do I project it in my resume?
It depends. There are a lot of things you. So first of all, I would say what transferable skills that you have in your field that you can show it in your resume. So even if you're in biology field, have you done, for example, I'm giving an example of say project management. Have you done anything related to project managing a project or managing a team? So you can just say those words in your resume that you've managed a team or you've like match the skills that is required for the job that you're applying with what you've done in the past and see how you can move them here. And I think most of the work that we do over here is transferable, that even if you would have done some sort of coordination kind of work or organizing things kind of work, or maybe uh, event management, for example, those kind of things. So you can always write them in a way that shows that, yes, you've done this in the past, but maybe in a different industry or in a different field. That's something that you can start with.
About 4 years back, I have changed my career.
Yeah.
So when I came here in Canada, before in India, I was working on animation, like all those cartoon movies or for small kids stuff. So that's a complete different, like completely different scenario, completely different softwares. Everything is different. So when I came here, I was doing some animation movies and stuff. I have worked for Netflix, but I was not happy. And then I took a gap and I take break and I was upgrading my skill. And then I applied for the movie industry, VFX, which is completely different. So actually, I have added all my past experience. I don't think that's a problem. If you can create a portfolio, if you can show them that you know what you are going to, like, you have, curiosity, or you want to learn new things, I think that will work, because that's how I cracked my first job. It's for if MPC. My first project was with MPC, which is Jungle Book. So which is kind of a big one. So yeah. So it helps. I think like all experience matters here. I don't think anything will not help you. So it's good to have. You have to be just confident. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much. Anybody else? Does anybody else have any questions? Once you're done with your questions, can you please remove the raise hand? So I did have one question for Shri. Shri, you mentioned about getting volunteer jobs, or volunteering. So how did you look for those kind of volunteering jobs?
I looked in Indeed. LinkedIn, I did not find anything, to be honest with you. LinkedIn has been my main source for job searching. I'm trying to change we're always trying to look for jobs. I've probably applied a lot of jobs in the beginning and I'm still applying. I'm still looking for better opportunities, but volunteering opportunities don't come through LinkedIn so much as it comes through Indeed. Indeed, if you just type in the word volunteer, you would see a lot of options coming through. And even for a volunteer option, it was like a proper interview for me. I'm not going to make any money, but I have to tell them that these are the hours I'm going to provide. Maybe for per week, like I'm going to give in 5 hours a week or 4 hours a week. It was an online kind of a job. It was based from home, so I could do after my work hours. And I applied with my resume because since I was in content strategy in the same, like in marketing and content strategy, so it helped. I didn't have to tweak my resume any like a lot more. Just send in a like a brief note. It was an easy apply through Indeed. So I just had a brief note saying I'm interested in this. The magazine was about cancer in pets and what happens and what are the first signs that you can see in pets and what things you can do, what medications you can give. And so I have a pet. So based on that experience, when I had my interview, it was all about like a proper interview, why I'm interested in this role, how much time I can devote, what I'm going to gain, and if I'm going to stick around or not. And that's how I got the position.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So does anybody else have any questions? Okay, so nobody has any questions, but would anybody like to share any of their experiences, how they have edited their resumes or they have edited their LinkedIn profiles and it has benefited you? Would anybody like to share any of their experiences? Okay. So I think that's it. This session was really good. It was short and crisp. We covered everything. We covered all the questions. Shri and Mayuraki, thank you so much. You guys, thank you so much for preparing for the session and then eventually coming and helping us understand how to prepare our resumes and then how to update our LinkedIn profiles. This session is being recorded, so today we have around 12 participants right now. There were a few more earlier, but I think your inputs will help many others because they will get, there are many who are not able to attend and they would definitely view these videos. Once again, thank you so much, Moitrey and Shri, Moiraki and Shri, sorry. And thank you so much for all the participants for joining the session and asking all the questions.
Hi, Indrajit. I'm sorry that I'm being late. I mean, for your last point about adding some point. So
Sure.
I would just like to share my experience here.
Go ahead.
Finding job in IT industry. So it took around like 1.5 months, and then I grabbed my first job. So I just like to add some points that has been already added. I would suggest like don't restrict to LinkedIn only. So you definitely use LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Monster, everything. I mean, whatever you can, just update your resume and use all the job sites. So that's how it worked for me.
Okay. Great.
And
Thank you.
one more last thing I forgot to mention. For me, it worked on LinkedIn. You guys can try as well. So when you search for the job or the hashtag, so you're going to search it and you will see like so many people, so many posts. Sometimes you will see on those posts like recruiters, thank you, the name of the recruiters, thank you. Like you're gonna see a lot of like that. Maybe search for the relevant hashtag, or maybe I was searching, my position is lighting artist in Toronto. So just you can get the recruiter name and just say hi and say nicely something to them. So it's the easiest way to get the recruiter's name from LinkedIn.
Yeah, this also worked for me. Thank you so much for bringing this up. Another thing I think we already brought up, but I'll just repeat it. Another thing that worked for me a lot is hashtag open to work. Whenever you are looking to work in your profile description, if you just add that hashtag open to work, then I mean, that triggers something and recruiters contact you more. So that really
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, that helps for me as well. And I think there are some settings also in
There are
LinkedIn.
settings as
Sometimes,
well.
yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes it gets off, or maybe we just don't get priority by for checking those stuffs. For me as well, that happened. And eventually I found out there are settings, and I turned it on for everything, whatever I needed for to find a job.
Would anybody else like to share any experiences? I see that there are quite a few people who probably had experiences in India and then came here, Canada, got a PR. Would any of you like to share any experiences?
Hi, Indrajit. This is Vidata. My experience is mainly in the IT side. So I was actually looking for a project manager role, which is a direct hire role in Canada. And most of the recruiters don't prefer to give a higher role on the as a first job.
Okay.
And I have no experience in US earlier, and also not in Canada. So I was directly from India. So it was tough for me, and it took like around 1 year
Okay.
to get my first job. What I will not go through everything because already Moiraki and Sri mentioned everything. I'll just point out two things. Like since there is a question for gap, I will clearly say like no need to highlight the gap. Anyway, it will be in your resume. The recruiters can see it if there is a gap, and if they ask anything, just don't hide it. And what Sri mentioned that whenever you are putting something like how you utilize that gap positively, so you can mention like how you have upgraded your skills, how you have utilized that time to use your time in a positive way for that role which you are looking for. It can be certifications, it can be learnings, it can be anything related to that. It may not be for the same role, but it can be for the similar role. And the other thing which I can mention that as per the resume which Moiraki clearly mentioned, like the main thing is the keywords. So what Indrajit you were mentioning, like for every job we may need to change our resume a little bit, and that's totally true. Like the keywords, there are so many keywords in IT. You can't fix to you. There can be like one master resume where you can have all of your experiences, and from that you can pick your part of experiences which will be required for the specific job, and you can update that specific resume with those keywords actually. So why the keywords is important? Because as I think Sri and Rakit both mentioned, like the algorithm, if the keywords are not right, it will not pick up it will not be picked up with the proper algorithm for your role. So if you use too much keywords, that is also not good. If you use correct keywords but specific numbers, that will be more useful. And obviously use your resume in a way so that it will give and highlight the current experience. And as suggested by one of the guide, like I went to access employment, so they suggested that I should not give more detail in the of my past. Like I can give detail for like my last 5 years max, but the
Okay.
remaining part will be remaining in my resume, but it will be just a summary of job what I
Yeah,
worked on.
that's a very valid point. Yes.
Very well done. I agree. Yeah, even I've seen that they don't want to give you manager level jobs here when you first come. Um, and I think that's mainly because we are like we are good with our skills and analytics and whatever, but what they will hold you responsible for, or the, like a negative thing would be soft skills. And it's a very unstructured workplace. They will you have to find your own things if you want to work on projects that I have seen. Like you actually have to show that you want to be part of that project. Go and talk to different managers, network within your office, within your team, to know people. And they were like, you know what, I know this person who worked on this particular project 2 months ago. I want that person in my team. So a lot of soft skills which we don't really focus on, but it helps if you can demonstrate it in any way in your resume, it works.
True, true. Soft skills are required, and also the networking part. That's truly helpful. That helps, and it helps in actually in all kinds of roles, not only the manager role or IT role. It helps in all kinds of roles. And thank you for Sri and Muraki. Like you really guided well. It
No,
helped
thank
me
you.
a
I
lot.
think you had some great points too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Would anybody else like to share their experiences? I see some new people joined. Would anybody else like to share any of their experiences of how they have edited their resume and it has helped them in their job search?
Hi, Indrajit. Paromita here.
Yeah, hi,
So,
sir.
yeah, so sorry about that. I joined the meeting quite late, and I found that most of the thing has been discussed. So here I came in Canada in 2019. So I have like prior experience from India in insurance sector.
Okay.
I did my front domain and expertise was into sales and marketing. So I was always into frontline sales and marketing. So as everyone, like all the sessions has been discussed, like getting a job for a non-IT people is definitely very difficult. So it has happened to me. So it was nothing different for me as well. So when I came to Canada, I was good enough with my networking. So with my friends and friends. So wherever I worked in Canada so far, my networking skills has always given me colors, like always been benefit. So when I cracked my first job with CIBC within a month of landing in Canada, and that was also through networking. So one of my friends recommended that job, and somehow I landed to a contact center, which is the stepping stone for any kind of gaining experiences in Canada. So what I did is that, as everyone rightly said, and nothing different I would say here, is that even though I had not done everything as the job required, I had to tweak my CVs a lot. I have to put out the key points, whatever the job responsibilities are. Not necessary, for example, if CIBC is asking for a customer service experience, what I used to do is that I used to copy or maybe tweak the words from other banks who is asking for the same job role, for example, BMO. And I'm not so much like confident like how to tweak it. So I used to copy paste, not exactly copy paste, but I used to just make a little bit of changes here and there from their job description whenever I'm applying to CIBC, and from CIBC, if whatever they have described in their job description, and used to tweak it to BMO or Scotia, like that. So this helps a lot, definitely, in getting your CV selected, and references definitely matters a lot. In this way, I got a hold of CIBC, then with RBC Insurances, and now on my third job, definitely LinkedIn has helped me a lot with like updating my skills and showcasing them. Like that. Even if I have not completed any courses, as you know, in insurances, we have to be licensed. So I keep on updating them. So in this way, I kept on upgrading myself, and yeah, I'm here where I wanted to be in the insurance sector.
Great. Thank you so much, Paramita.
Thank you.
Hey, Shushmita, I saw you unmuted. Would you like to share something?
Hi, y'all. Yeah. So my experience is quite different from whatever you guys have been like saying it. I would like to share my one with you guys. So the first thing is like back in India, I used to be a WBUT assistant professor. So like I had an experience of 6 years there. And then then I came to US with my husband due to his posting and all. So those 6 years were for me, it was like H4 visa. So I had nothing to do. I was all like dependent. So I had zero work experience. And unfortunately, I didn't do any kind of certifications just as to show that my like, the skills with my working with my skills or what. It's just a like, a kind of break that I have to show everywhere. But I'm okay with that, because that's the thing. I can't really like, avoid what I have done. But coming here, when I landed here 2 years back, January. So that time I didn't look for job because I was pregnant with my second one. But when I actually walked into the field of getting into the the my particular sector, so it's kind of frozen, because I think a lot of you have know that to get into the education sector here is a kind of hassle, because we have to go through a lot of trainings and everything, the enhancement from here. But then again, I had to search for the odd jobs. Yes, and I did that. But right now I want to have ask everyone who would have like the similar kind of experience, that what different fields do you guys even like think of approaching? Because I was an educator all my life. So if somebody are in the same kind of boat like mine, like what are the different the job fields that you have thought about going, or you feel comfortable, or you are actually doing great in that, change your work, and if
I
I
can
could
help
make
answer this. Like Paromita here. So if you are more into the coaching or in the teaching field, so I would say like finance industry or insurance is industry is the easiest way. Not I would say it's very easy, but it's a relatively good industry to set your foot into. So what happened is that if initially you have to have like little bit of licenses about any kind of an insurance that you do, and wherever you are employed, that company generally gives that training, and you have to pass that examination to make your employment fixed. So once you do that job, so gradually if you enjoy doing insurance, you can upgrade yourself or promote yourself within the team as a coach. Like coach means like you coach new hires about their insurances and all other stuff. So if you enjoy like teaching or coaching new hires, so this can be a good stepping stone for you. I mean, that's my thought.
Okay, great. Thanks for your
I know
updating.
someone.
I
I
want
know
to
someone who has
go.
been who has gone through this, and she is working on a working. She's working as a teacher right now. What she did is she went to the local. She went to her local, the Montessori school for the kids. She got experience for 2 years from there, and while she was doing that, she was doing some all the trainings and all, and she got the schooling experience, and it's easier to get into the Montessori like for the kids school, and she got the schooling experience, plus she got time to get the certifications and licensing done. So and now she grabbed the job.
Yeah, thank you,
So
thank
there
you.
are many, yeah, there are many jobs where you can gradually see yourself as a trainer or as a coach. Like
Mhm.
you can also give like trainings on like jobs, like people like who are like new immigrants and they're looking for new job and all. So there are many ways where you can upgrade yourself as a learner. You can find like various licenses to do so, various certifications, and those are very good if you wanted to be. I'm not saying that it would be like a core teacher stuff, but more or less like these stuff. But if you're interested in schools and all, then yeah, then that is completely different.
Shruta, another option, because you're a professor, you can get into uh,
Young trainings, yeah, adult
adult
trainings.
learning or something, which is a department most of the companies have, which focuses on learning and development. And they all, I know people who are from like a teaching background who are into that field. A second option would be content. would you be interested in writing articles? I don't know what field you are a professor or teacher in, but related to your field, is there something that you can write about or do that would transfer, or like those skills, like whatever subject you were teaching, that can be transferred and you can enhance that?
So, Shri, yes, initially after my graduation, I had done content for like not much of my time, but I did for 3 months. But I really didn't like, the way we have to portray there. So I was more into literature rather than, the content one, what we actually did there. But yes, of course, thank you so much for your input. But I would rather go for some kind of, the other I don't really know the person name who was talking about the different education, the different sector about the insurance thing.
Paramita.
My name is Paromita. Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Hi,
Okay,
you can
Param.
reach out to me personally. I can help guide you how I about my journey in insurance, because I am very passionate about insurance. So may not be like everyone is passionate, but yes, I can always. I'm happy to guide people or maybe help to my abilities.
Thank you
Hi,
so much for that.
this is Devika. I want to share a similar experience. Like, I had my marketing background in India, and then I got married. I was in US for 6 years on H4. I couldn't work, and I did nothing to upgrade myself. I had my daughter there. So in 2019, I came to Canada on visitor visa. Like my husband was on work permit, got PR in 2020, and then I started thinking about upgrading myself. So like I live in Oshawa, so every place you will find a community college. So I enrolled myself. I'm pursuing HR graduate certificate right now from the college, and I'll be in the second sem. And so this is another option where you can look for, if you are PR, you can enroll yourself in a community college. There are tons of courses available, starting from insurance to everything. You can have a look at the nearest community college website. And the other benefit that I got, that I didn't have to pay fees right now because I got OSAP funding, that the Ontario government funds for your gives funding, kind of gives you loan for the education, that you don't have to pay the fees right now, but when you get your job, then you start paying the interest. So this is also an option you can look for.
So just can you give us an idea, Devika, what the costs look like?
Sorry?
How much the cost would be for a
So
course
it
like that?
depends. So depends on the course. So I'm doing just 1 year course, and my
Okay.
fees is like 5,000 CAD. But
Okay.
I didn't pay anything right now. I took loan,
Okay.
and I'll be paying like after 6 months of completing my course. So once I get job, then I'll be eligible to make payments for the.
And what
Basically,
was
you have to pay the interest. Yeah.
the eligibility criteria for getting a loan? And who was loan from once again?
So it's called OSAP, OSAP. It's
Okay.
Ontario Student. I forgot the full form, but you can type in Google
Yeah.
OSAP. You have to be a permanent resident for that.
Okay.
And you have to, they will give you approval. You have to fill all your details and everything. And if they find that you are eligible, they will approve your loan, and then you can start, applying to college.
I want to mention one thing, because before you even apply for OSAP, and you just need to double check the whatever you're doing, because when I was applying for OSAP, I studied in Humber. My
Yeah.
Mhm.
course was not enrolled. So
Okay.
Sorry?
everyone told me, yes, my course was not enrolled.
Yeah,
Okay.
you need to like you speak to your your college admin
Yes,
about
I
it.
I talked to the college and they
Yeah.
said yes.
Oh,
And I did not check the OSAP website. I didn't check exactly because the college told me yes.
mhm.
Okay.
And but and when I like started applying OSAP, I applied to the college and everything done. And then they told it showed that particular my course was taken out from OSAP that moment.
Okay. Okay. All
So
right.
before even you apply, double check like 10 times.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You
sometimes
need
like
to
they do plus and minus suddenly. So it happened to me and I had to pay off complete college
Oh, is it?
payment.
I
Yes,
did
I had to pay that off. So
I
it was
was
crazy.
Okay.
But
UX from Brain Station because it was not part of and it was not covered.
yeah,
Okay.
mine was covered. Actually, mine was covered. From the next semester, they took it out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think
So double check.
Moitri has raised her hand. She wants to say something. Moitri.
Okay, so this is Dipanjan again. Sorry for borrowing in from other people's account. So I just want to mention that, copying and pasting from other banks' job description and pasting it in your CV and while applying. So I've actually done that, and normally, I mean, I get rejections, but the jobs that I have applied using this, now these jobs are in limbo for some reason. Right. I mean, neither they have accepted it nor they have rejected it. So there might be a silver lining somewhere down the road. I don't know. And regarding OSAP, I have been contacted by a college called Trios College, maybe, and I was looking to do a course in digital marketing because I've already got an MBA degree in marketing, majoring in marketing. So the course fees was around 13K, a bit less than that. But then unfortunately, not the entirety of the course is funded by them. And so I would suggest that, there are a lot of roles out there, like business analyst and data analyst. And, from my research, what I've done, you don't actually have to have like pro level proficiency in the softwares and all that you need. So if we can find a course that's like, let's say 5K, 6K, then the amount that OSAP funds you is enough for you to be able to take a loan and then pay it off in like the next 12 months or so. So OSAP is definitely helpful. OSAP has contacted me, but then the course fees need to be under control because I don't think they'll fund you for more than 50%.
Okay.
They will do it if you have dependents. Right.
There is rules as well for OSAP. They will show you that they will fund you, but if there is any emergency in your family or something happens, government always take care. I know a lot of people government paid completely for them. A woman, she got pregnant and she couldn't finish. She finished her college, but she couldn't start a new job. Government paid off 70% of her OSAP. It depends. That's why OSAP is always better because you never know. Government is always helpful here. They are not going to like push you or force you if anything happens to you.
Right. Right.
Okay. So we have already completed 1 hour and 12 minutes. Maybe we can take one more. So would anybody else like to share their experience? We can just have one more person. Okay, so it looks like nobody's interested. Okay, that's it. I think we'll end the session now. Thank you everybody for joining and making this session so engaging by asking so many questions and sharing all your experiences. Thank you so much. Looking forward to meeting you all in future sessions. Thank you all.